some workers are painting my my front door. So I figured I'd take a walk and let them do what they do. There's nothing worse than trying to work on a dwelling and having the occupant there watching what you're doing. It's just that you can't relax. I got someone who worked in civil engineering for most of his life. A lot of it was plot plans where you go to a plot plan gets drawn up on them. You go to a house and you have to measure up the house itself as well as figure out where it sits on the lot. So it's a lot of walking around at someone's backyard and front yard and, you know, going around the house with a tape measure. And when someone who was there, who lived there, would accompany us, it would double the time. It would double the time. And it's like, a lot of times they're just trying to be nice. Like, well, I got, you know, here to help. But it's like, no, go. If you just go in the house and watch TV or something, we'll be out of here faster. So, you know, with that in mind, I stepped away and said, gave them a little bit of a direction as to what was going on. Because the door can't shut all the way. Because if it does, it locks. And I've never had a key to that door. Now, I don't have any valuables in there. Or at least not anything anyone would know what to do with. I mean, if those of you who've seen inside there, you know, there's the collectible comic shit, and then I have like some occult artifacts. And if it's a hard time selling the Batman shit, good luck trying to offload some of that other stuff. People don't even know what they are, you know. So I don't have a lock on that door. And then when I'm in there sleeping or something, I have a little security system, several security systems set up, physical and spiritual. No one's coming in there. Well, at least not since the home invasion, you know, 4 years ago. Oh, that was a fun day. But that's, I don't want to get into the whole story though. It was my landlord's kid's boyfriend. And it was just stupid. It was stupid. I didn't press charges because it's like, do I want this to be the next however long of my life in court? And they're just fucking idiot retards. Not whatever. But the yeah. So I regularly I'm in there, you know. So if anyone comes in, you know, I'm in there. I have had a few funny things. So I had an older Asian woman who must have been on the wrong floor. She came in the door one night while me and Nia were laying in bed. And it wasn't like late, but we would just, you know, sometimes we lay around bed. And she came in and we're like, what? You know, no one, we're the only ones going in there, you know. Very rarely have people over. We've had some people over who, you know, out of towners stay the night. Friends of mine have stayed there, you know. And occasionally a friend will come over, but it's very rare. So someone comes walking in the house, which, you know, to be fair, they do that a lot in Hawaii. They're not very good with boundaries. There's a lot of Kramer-esque kind of behavior here. You know, hey, how you doing? It's like, good. It's fucking, what about the door? Well, it was open. You know, that's Hawaii to a T. If you live here, you know what I'm saying. You know, they see an open door. It's like, well, the door's open. That was for me, right? So the older Asian woman walks in, and she starts speaking in Asian. I think she was speaking Asian. And she's like, trying to tell us, you know, like, what are you doing kind of in my house? Is what I think is what she was trying to say. Like, what are you doing in my house? And we're like, no, this is our house, you know? And she was arguing with us about it. And then she just kind of started looking around and just fucking swim walks backwards out the door. Oh, I don't like to swear in front of kids. I don't think they can hear me, though. And that was it, you know? Yeah, I don't like to swear or smoke around kids. Like, if I'm smoking and I'm walking around, even right here. It doesn't matter how close people are. I take a cigarette and put it behind my back, or I cup it up by my face. You know, I'm not an asshole. And language is very, you know, sometimes like right there, I kind of let it slip. But I thought he had a baby, right, like an infant. But then upon further inspection, I saw an arm hanging out. So that's a kid that can understand words. I don't think he heard me though. At least that's what I'm telling myself to make myself feel better. I don't know if they're done yet. Of course, went and walked around Ross to kill some time. I thought when the Target moved in, I would never go to Ross again. Well, I know I thought I'd never go in there, but I thought it would be, I cut down on my Ross use, but no, because the Target ended up being a bust. It's like one of those satellite Targets. I've gone through it. I was so upset I did like 2 videos. That's the problem with, you know, uploading every day. I try to keep it spiritual warfare focused, as is the point of this channel, and you know, using my experience in the occult to add to, you know, maybe give some background on why things are happening and what I think is going on. But uploading every day, sometimes you end up cutting a promo on Target. I cut a couple promos. I even did a short. I was so mad because I was waiting for that thing to come in for years. You know, it's been in the works for years, and yeah, man, crestfallen. A very small toy section, which doesn't really get refilled a lot. I mean, I've got some stuff out there, of course. You know, I'm gonna find something, but not much. First world problems, man. First world problems here in the third world. A bank truck was just picking up money at the store. And I didn't see it. I didn't see any of it. And I almost accidentally walked into the guy who was handling all the money heading back to his truck. I'm like, Jesus. Scary. I wonder if anyone was watching and then like saw me approach. Like, what's this guy doing? And then I thought about how they want to put biometrics in everybody. And if they could look at my face or you know, point the camera at me, and a list of known affiliations and family members came up around my head, they would take the fucking shot. Especially in that scenario, for reasons I probably keep to myself. I was just in Ross, like I do every day, looking for Batman shit, and it got me thinking like about Batman and the stuff I collect, you know, because sometimes when there's nothing in there that I would normally get, and I want to buy something, you know, just because I kind of want to, I like getting new shit, I'll start like saying, well, I don't really collect this, but it's kind of adjacent. I kind of got rid of all that stuff, like everything I had fairly recently. Anything that built up over the last few years, I recently got rid of in a foyer purge. I bring them down to the foyer in my building and let people take them. Yeah, I just don't, but I do this every couple of years, right? Like I'll be out toy shopping, right? And I'll see like a real good deal. Like these Transformers are only $10 each. And I buy like a bunch of them. So then at that point, well, now I buy Transformers. So now when I'm in a store and I see others that I want or that are on sale, I end up buying them. The same thing inevitably happens with everything. So just recently I'm going through my apartment, which is very, you know, small. And I'm like, okay, I got all this Masters of the Universe stuff, all this Transformers stuff, a ton of Ninja Turtle shit. You know, whatever's hitting Ross in the discount stores is usually the direction I go, but it has to be stuff that I was either into at one point, collected at one point, or stuff I'm somehow nostalgic, interested in. So and this same thing happened recently where I'm like, look, I'm a Batman collector, okay? I don't need any of this stuff, and if I get rid of it all, I'm not going to be compelled to buy like a bunch of new like Turtle stuff or He-Man stuff, or G.I. Joe was another one that I had a bunch of stuff in. So I brought them all down to the foyer and got rid of them all. So now I'm just primarily still the Batman collector, as I always have been. And wrestling figures. You know, I do wrestling figures. So I'll go in shopping to look in these places, and you know, sometimes there's just nothing. So it's an addiction, right? So the addict mind kicks in, and I start thinking of, well, you know, there's a lot of other DC characters that Batman hangs around with. They call them Batman adjacent characters. And like, I'll stretch myself in that direction to pick up stuff like that. There wasn't any there today, but it got me thinking, like, who are the Batman adjacent characters? Like, just because they're DC Comics characters, even ones that he's in a team with, like Justice League, you know, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Superman, that doesn't make them Batman adjacent. He hangs around with them in the Justice League because he's part of the Justice League. You know, these aren't people he would usually work with. The people who he would work with or somehow more related to him would be characters like Metamorpho, Green Arrow and Black Canary, Black Lightning, but I'm not going to collect Black Lightning because we don't do that in my house. Katana. You know, they're Batman adjacent characters, like ones that he's worked with in the past or works with on a regular basis, or perhaps share villains. And I was just going down a list of who those guys are, of who I think would be friends with him. Not friends, but people he would use on a regular basis. Of course, any of the Bat family, extended family, Huntress, you know, Robin, Nightwing, and his villains. Like recently I passed on, you know, and I shouldn't have because it fits the collection, was a Riddler from the, it was the Jim Carrey version, but it just looked so silly, and it was a pop. I don't really like buying pops. You know, it's I don't know. I've gone through phases of buying them, and I see them around the room, and I get upset with myself. They're just the lamest thing. They're just like, yeah, I don't have to go into why they're lame. People understand that. And I think there's been a kind of reckoning lately with that stuff, and we've seen them drop off in popularity. They're overpriced, you know, for what they are. And, you know, whatever. I have to go on about that. But, yeah, like I'm in there, like, I got wanting to get something, but there's just nothing there. See, the thing with the COVID thing is it just made it okay for people to wear a Jason hockey mask. That guy was just wearing a Jason hockey mask with a towel wrapped on his head. And you can't say anything about it. I mean, people that would be worried about that, like security guards and everything, you can't say shit to that guy. And they shouldn't. Because for years, there were years back there where I'd get yelled at for not doing something like that. I mean, not wear the complete Jason hockey mask, but hey, you see a guy like that, what do you think he's up to? You think he's just worried about health? I don't know, but it puts people in a weird situation. Like, what, you can't really say anything to him because you screwed yourself with the fucking masks, you know? I see it all the time now. Like these fucking guys that clearly ne'er-do-wells wearing the baklavas, or wearing the pulled up handkerchief like a bandit around the nose, like still all out here still, and they look like they're up to something. And I know the whole catch of the book by its cover, believe me, I know that. I mean, I fucking have a certain look, but you can at the same time, or at least I know. I mean, I can tell. So if I can tell, I think other people can tell too. But like that dude back there, he's very shady looking. He has a sort of hip-hop kind of style thing going on, which automatically, you know, sets the alarm bells off. Because of course it does. Why wouldn't it? You're naive if you, well, it's just music. No, fuck you. You have to go. You have to go with them when the time comes. In fact, you should go first. The people that when the day of the rake does come, the people that enable are really the ones that deserve to be raked, to have their yard raked the most. Because shitbags are shitbags. They're going to be shitbags. But they can only be as shitty as we allow them to be. So when you have advocates out here, who diversity advocates and, you know, these progressive type people that allow this shit to happen, they're the fucking ones. I don't even blame the fucking shitbags, because they're just fucking, what are you gonna do? You're a shitbag. But the society has traditionally kept them at bay by wanting to uphold and maintain a civilization. People these days don't want to uphold and maintain civilization. But then I gotta think about it, right? At the very same time, do I want to uphold civilization? I kind of want it to come down. I mean, that's what I'm always saying. Like, it also to come down. It's to be torn down. So maybe it's a good thing. So maybe it's a good thing that the guy's dressed like a serial killer, walking around sideways in a hip-hop fashion. So really, I should be behind that. I think I just did a complete 360. I just turned around 360 degrees. It happens sometimes, like when I'm, you know, I'll think something and I'll start talking about it here. And as I'm talking, I work it out. Sometimes you have to verbalize stuff. So ultimately, hip-hop serial killer is good for society. I should really just keep my mouth shut. Let him do his thing. I just don't want anyone I know to be victimized by an individual like that. You know? But I mean, someone has to. It's going to end up at somebody for the collapse. You know, there has to be a collapse. So, I don't know. I'm you know, that it's one of those conundrums. It's a conundrum wrapped in a cross purposes, wrapped in a couple other different things. So, I don't know, whatever. Couldn't think of words fast enough. That happens a lot lately. It comes with age. I just had grasping for common words that used to come so easily. I feel like a rush losing it. Except I could still dance very well, so I mean, it's not a one-to-one. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.